So I want to make this video and I only want it to be my one video that I make. I don't want to make multiple videos. I'm just going to make this one video. And and it makes sense why I'm making this video and why I'm getting this out there, this information. But it's something that people need to pay attention to when it comes to being a targeted individual and gang stalkers, things like that. But just let me share logic and stats with you just in a general sense. These past 2 years, we've been hearing about these people being abducted. But yet, their remains, their body, nothing about them's ever found. Their bones aren't digged up, nothing. You got airline travelers where the plane just goes missing and they can't even obtain the black box, and then they search and search for the plane. It's nowhere to be found. Things like that are happening. So here's a theory. It's a theory no one pays attention to, but it's definitely a possibility with the way our immoral system is being created. With all these species of different life forms being extinct, and the fact that all these fires are happening, all these earthquakes and tornadoes are happening, and all this stuff is happening. You got farms, you got live cattle, you got livestock. And farmers are having a really hard time with all this storming happening, this flooding happening. Profits are probably going to go down, and prices are going to go up. And so my theory is this, that the meat that we're eating, the actual meat, we're eating each other. And if you keep in mind the system of the beast, okay? The beast of the system, right? Antichrist system. What's the opposite of good? Evil. And if there's an evil, then there has to be a good. You can't have evil without good, because if you had evil and you didn't have something to recognize what was good, then it wouldn't be called evil. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be called evil at all. It have a different term to it. So if there's an evil, then there has to be a good, and if there's a good, there has to be an evil. But you're only going to be in one of those types of groups. You're not going to be in some other genre of a title received on a moral compass. You're either good or you're evil. And we're at a point in society where we pick by how our character is defined and built. And there are people that believe they have no shame. They shouldn't be ashamed. But let me remind you that just because you think the Bible doesn't exist, and just because you think God doesn't exist, doesn't make what you think a reality, alright? What your opinion is does not encapsulate God in some type of box, okay? And society for years has been going towards this meaningless, degrading, dehumanization of desensitization by using institutionalization, medication stabilization, different types of humanitarian groups are being ridiculed. You have different churches falling in the way of the secular world. You have churches that are misconstruing the doctrine and basically poisoning it and then preaching it. because they don't care about what they're talking about. They care about your money. If you keep coming back to that church, they care about numbers. Some of these mega churches out there, they do things the Bible tells them not to do. You know, there's a structure for everything, and that's why it was created. There's a foundation, there's a sacred realm that you do not cross a line on. So many people already cross that line, and there ain't no going back for them. In the Bible, it biblically specifically talks about how gay marriage is frowned upon, should not exist. It does not coexist with righteousness with God. And there's so many people that would throw stones at you for having that ideology and speaking your doctrinated opinion. But their indoctrinated opinion, they'll throw stones at glass houses. See what I'm saying? How do we know the food we're eating? You and me, other people. I mean, there's been just different symbols and symbolism and different messages. I mean, there's a Simpsons episode made back, I think, 1996, 97. It was a Halloween episode. And the teachers were eating the students. And I mean, if that's not a subliminal message to get your attention, I mean, almost like smeared in people's faces. I mean, tell me how they could keep the upkeep of this running. Some of the food, some of the meat out there is not even real meat. Just put a label on it, and you think it's made with real meat. You know, some of this stuff's got OMGs in it, different types of chemicals, so that way it doesn't go bad. They put them in cans. You're gonna tell me that that's normal? Meat is not supposed to be set out for more than 3 days or it goes bad. Yet they could put it in a can for 3 years and it stays good. What kind of chemical are you putting in that's going in your body? You know, those are things people don't like to focus on. They let the media think for them. Because people have gone to this disconnected reality to the point where you guys don't read no more. You watch videos. You learn from watching a video. I meet very few people that like to read. They get out of high school, 10, 15 years goes by, they didn't touch a book. Maybe the closest thing they ever touched was a traveler's guide, thinking one day they were going to travel, but they never do. And honestly, that's why the stupid people are the jealous people. If you think about it, that's why I don't get mad when people make comments. It's the stupid people that get jealous because they can't think for themselves. They're stuck in this box, so they get jealous of the people that did think for themselves, became a musician, became an author, became something that they say coulda, woulda, shoulda, but you didn't. And so they get jealous about it. They get jealous of you. They get jealous of me. I mean, I wrote a book and I sold thousands of copies. I got government intel asking me about royalties. I got people asking me, do you pay taxes? You know? How much royalties do you get off your book? As a government, we want to know. So, back to what I'm saying about this is that it's the unintelligent people that don't want to learn. You don't want to learn, and because you don't want to learn, you end up falling into these trends, whether they're bad and moral. It doesn't matter to you. There's no shame. You fall into it. But it's the individuals by the deep state that are monitored that don't fall into it. They're being paid attention to. I mean, A$AP Rocky. You may not even know this, but A$AP Rocky was born the same day, same fucking year as me. We share the same birthday. See what I'm saying? My birthday and my date of birth and my year is significant. I mean, Donald Trump talks about A$AP Rocky with the black community. Donald Trump wrote me a letter. You know, my book's in the White House. My book's 10 different countries around the world. My book is in Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska public libraries. I've made the Hall of Fame listing with the Midwest Book Review. You know, and stupid people would get jealous over that. Oh, you think you're somebody, you ain't a nobody. And it's funny because only unintelligent individuals are going to be mad. There are individuals that went to college, probably A&T, Texas A&M, freaking Memphis University, Oregon State, that are successful with having degrees and their purpose and their calling. And yet I don't even have a college diploma. I have a high school diploma with honors, and I'm on such a bar that people know me. See, people want me dead because their own jealousy fumes what they can't have. It's called envy. It's called covetousness. It's in the Bible. But as unspiritual individuals, you obviously would not know that. You wouldn't know that as a society that does not practice or believe in Jesus Christ. And so back to this beast system. It's what the beast system is going to do and has been doing. It's going to cause family, brothers, sisters to turn on each other. It's going to cause family to betray each other. And that's what it's going to do. Potentially, alternatively, you know, your family's going to be destroyed and broken apart. And so you got to have a strong kind of spirit. You know, I meet these young kids that are 20 years old. They think they know how to fight, you know. They talk about like, oh, you want to use your fingers like this and you want to be in a street fight. They talk about how it's cool. So I take them aside and I show them some moves and they're like, what the fuck? Where'd you learn that? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I studied grappling and I worked with some different trainers. Then I show them some different moves where you could like literally sling someone over your shoulder and drop them, almost like a fireman carry. Like, what was that? Dude, where did you learn that? Krav Maga, Israeli martial arts. They're like, dude, why are you studying all this? Why are you learning how to defend yourself? Because when crunch time comes, you better be ready to train to go. And they'll be like, dude, why are you putting up 225? Why don't you just take it light? Because I don't want to be like you. That's why. I want to be strong. If someone's on top of you, because the purpose for benching that much weight is to lift someone off of you. That's the purpose of it. You got a grown man that's 300 pounds beating you up. You got to be able to push him off of you. You got to be strong. You got to make sure they can't stab you when you're holding their wrist. You got to be able to outpower them. And that goes with working your hips too, working out your hips, hip thrusters with weights. And these young dumb kids are like, I could never do that. That's their mindset, you know. I could never do that. I mean, that's what a dumb kid would say. And yet at the same time, they happen to know it all. It's so inconceivable. How can you say you know it all, and yet you say you can never do that? Well, obviously you haven't tried to fail. And that's the thing about procrastinators. Procrastinators are very gifted people. Steve Jobs was a procrastinator. You know, look at him. Look how far he got. Robin Williams was a procrastinator with his writing. Stephen King, he writes. Most good writers are procrastinators, because good writers and thinkers are writing. You don't have their material till it's published, but for those 3 years, 5 years, they were writing. And just so it's said, like, I mean, a lot of you people that claim to believe this Jesus that you encapsulate as your own, you're the same people that follow trends. I mean, I ran into people Christians. They claim to be Christians. You go to them, you say, hey, you think you can help me with something? Maybe a few bucks. This is when I was homeless, down on my luck. Not no more though, I'm not a bum. I'd be like, hey, can you help me a few bucks? And it'd be like usually white people. Usually people who are disabled or black, Mexican, some type of like disadvantage to society, you know, they'd be willing to like help you, give you a hand. But I notice it's the white people. They don't. It's like, what? You go up to them, you're like, you got a couple bucks you can help me with? Nah, I don't. Nah, go to a homeless shelter, get help there. Go to the Red Cross, they'll help you. But they don't. But they don't want to give back because they, in their mind, give to society and tithing. So like they're like, I already give. What you give to a church that preaches a doctrine that you want to hear, not what you need to hear. What you give to the taxpayer, yet you discriminate. And in Article U.S. Code 42-12101, Disability Equal Rights. Look it up. Article U.S. Code 42-12101 of 1990, revised 2008. It's a legal term for the United States Congress. It was passed in 1990, and it specifically states in the law that it's costed the United States billions of dollars to open different types of organization groups, federally funded, due to discrimination by the white majority group. So while you're discriminating because you think someone doesn't contribute, you're actually costing the country billions of dollars. And if you don't believe me and you think you know everything, well, then go ahead and keep paying higher tax rates, because you're part of the reason why. So, in a general sense of everything happening in this country, it's a revelation. These tornadoes, 600 of them, touched down just this year alone. Earthquakes, tsunamis. There's going to come a point where it's going to be murder, mass robbery. It's going to be everywhere. And there's going to be no discrimination. No one's going to care if you're white. No one's going to care if you're the police. No one's going to care if you're a firefighter. No one's going to care if you're a congressman, congresswoman. No one's going to care at your stature of authority. Because once that shit hits, you're going to be as equal as everyone else. You're going to be a nobody when that shit hits. So the more enemies you got, the more you need to keep sharp, more you need to learn, more you need to focus. But back to the original statement, if this system truly is buyer-branded system, with the brands that are run by money, dollar bill, y'all, money, then how can you articulate in words with actual proof and documentation that these meat factories of your brother that went missing never got found, your wife that went missing never got found, your cousin that never got found? Tell me exactly what obviously would have happened to them, because they're talking about these slave ships in the seas. But they're also talking about this possible, well, I mean, I'm bringing it attention with this theory. This has been talked about in messages, okay? Keep in mind, just subliminal messages. But a lot of people are too stupid to really see the subliminal message. They let their mind be altered. I know a guy who was so unintelligent, and I talked to him about different constitutional statutes, revised law. He was so dumb. He said that he did say we had 10 Bill of Rights, but he was so dumb he couldn't name one of them. Not one of them. And yet, he's going off with his opinion, thinking he knows everything. How can you know everything if you don't even know the very Constitution that protects you? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You millennials, most of you millennials are idiots. And if you are offended by that statement because I was brought up in the era where it's okay to speak your mind and that you gotta being a free thinker is okay, but all of a sudden it's not because you millennials come around, I'm gonna be real with you. You millennials are lazy. Lazy. All the generations before you did all the work. You're the laziest freaking generation. You millennials want to watch a freaking tutorial video to learn. You won't even crack open a textbook. You want to Google to be your search. When I was growing up, I had a fucking encyclopedia I had to read through. You want to talk about a fucking Google search? That shit didn't exist until I was already... That shit wasn't blown up the way it is until I was already out of high school. Man, you got it easy, and yet you want to tell everyone how to do their shit. You got it easy, and yet you want to tell everyone how to run shit. You ain't shit. You're a fucking millennial. What about all the people before you that suffered and died? And if you obviously have some fucked up shit to say to that, maybe you should be fucking martyred for the belief that you really have. You millennials have not contributed to society the way so many people before you have. You know? It is a disgusting thing that I see every day. Where is the intelligence, the integrity, the honesty, the moralism? Because you don't got it. You're the generation that wants to fuck everything up. You're the generation that wants it now. Everyone owes you something. Motherfuckers, you grew up after so many people had already went through the struggle with civil rights, like me. Nowadays, you can't say retard. That was what I was called growing up. People like me had to go through that struggle so you wouldn't be called that. People like me had to go through those struggles. You don't got to now. And you got smartphones, you can record shit, you can put shit out there. Don't act like you're the same as us. Your generation is the worst generation to ever come to this planet. And you're just adding to the bullshit. You're proving everyone that you're the worst generation. We're looking at you thinking that, man, is something going to change with this person? You know, this, and this. You individuals think you know everything and think you have brains? You think you got a brain? I swear to you, I meet a lot of stupid people, but the dumbest people I've ever met in my life since I've been alive on this planet are people from year 2000 and up. If you were born in the year 2000 and up, I meet some really straight up. When I was doing 6 years in the pen, I met some, like, you know, some hillbilly white dudes, and they were really funny, you know, and you could tell they loved to drink beer. They did meth on the streets and shit like that. But it blew my mind on how smart they actually were. I mean, these guys are 50, 60, you know, beer face and everything. But it blew my mind on how much intelligence these guys had. I mean, these are guys that drink beer every day. We're in Vietnam War. Shit like that. And they're smarter than you fucking kids that go to high school, graduate with honors, and all of a sudden you're accepted into a school program? Shit. With my intelligence, I wish I was born in the year 2000. All you motherfuckers would be under me. I'd be your fucking boss telling you what to do every day. Because I guarantee you can't hang with me. Your intelligence is so fucking... It's such a fucking joke. It just makes me laugh. I mean, dude, I wrote the book and edited the book myself. Okay? I had to grow up using encyclopedias. We didn't have computers. When I was growing up, internet was not a thing. We had pens and pads and shit like that. We didn't have advantages. We had disadvantages that made us smarter. Now that you got these advantages, you're dumber now. Dumb and dumber. That's all I'm next to anymore when I'm on a, public, commute, when I'm just hanging out, sitting down in an area where you got buses going by, or you got different vans going by, and I'm just sitting there outside. And when I say commute, I don't mean literally taking the bus. I mean the commute. I'm sitting down, right? A lot of you dumb millennials won't even know what that word means. A lot of you millennials don't even know half the meaning behind words. I'll be making an intelligent statement, and that's why I got rid of Facebook. I got these dumb fucking millennials that probably never read a full chapter book in their life. And they're like 19 years old, 25 years old, I mean, obviously if you're 25, you were born you would have been born around 98, maybe 94, whatever, Fact of the matter is, you kids are way, way, way behind. And you wanna respond with unintelligent bullshit that no one wants to hear from you? I mean, there'll be a guy making an intelligent statement. You got a millennial that completely just fucking butchers it with some stupidity. I'm talking the statement that they make is so fucking stupid that I'm just I stop and I hold my chin and I'm like, did this dumb motherfucker really just say that? And did this dumb motherfucker really process that before they wrote it down? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what a dumb motherfucker. And I mean, and then I go on, when I had Facebook, I got rid of that shit, but when I went on to Facebook and I looked up their birth date and everything, and it said year 2000 when they were born, I was like, oh, that explains it. I rarely see someone born from fucking 1985, 1962, 1991, and I'll see some real vivid stupidity from these young kids. And I'm thinking, I was asking a family member after they graduated high school, I was like, so what's the 6-Day War then, if you know so much about the Israeli and the situation that happened in the 1940s and everything, and after that against Iran and support of Russia, stuff like that. They're like, what's the 6-Day War? I'm like, you're shitting me. They're like, whoa, what's the 6-Day War? And I'm like, did you really just ask me that? And I won't even tell them. I'll be like, go look it up. They'll be like, no, I don't. Why don't you tell me? It's like, why don't you fucking get educated? Why don't you teach yourself? I mean, obviously, if the school system's not going to teach you true history, then your education is a flunk, and you getting into college was an accident, and them passing you and taking you in is off the idealism that what they taught you critiques what they want you to learn, so that way you get in. But when I was growing up, we studied truth, honesty. We had the 6 pillars as well. But you kids these days, yeah, if you're 19, you're still a fucking kid. You just became an adult that year. You're still a fucking kid, wet behind the ears. You're still a little fucking kid at 19. Some of you 19-year-olds think you're real tough, know how to fight. I'm gonna tell you one thing about fighting. It's not how young you are, it's how experienced you are. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You could be 30 years old and been in 15 different fights, and this young kid thinks he's gonna fucking own the show, only been in one fight his whole life in high school, whooped the kid. Next thing you know, he goes up against this man and derails this fucking 19-year-old. And those 15 fights he won happened to be in a ring for a title belt. Shit like that, right? So these young kids think they know it all, they're invincible. You're invincible until you get humbled and you're sitting on your ass thinking, what just fucking happened? There's a lot of you young kids that really think like you're on a different level, like you could be God. I see the same motherfuckers like you get owned in prison. I seen motherfuckers like you get your ass kicked. Now, I got beat up too. But the guys I got beat up by, you could never fucking fight them. Too fucking big and fast for you. The dude that beat me in my book that I write about, that whooped me in a fight, was 6'5". Big motherfucking Indian cat. He was beefing with me. And I'm 6'2". This dude had claws. This dude had like claws the size of a fucking velociraptor. Now you tell me you could fight a motherfucker like that and win. And then if you say, oh yeah, I could. Yeah, you're all fucking talk, chunk. That's all you are is talk. You ain't the real deal. And so that's what I'm saying. A lot of you young kids have no integrity. I mean, what are the 6 pillars now? I mean, is it demoralization, falsehood, lack of identity? What else would it be? Fictitious minds, re-education, lack of education, I mean, this society is so demoralized. And so, back to what I was saying, I'm not convinced. Ain't no one in my group convinced. No one in my system convinced that you millennials are intelligent. So fucking what if you could fucking do calculus? I bet you it was so fucking watered down compared to the calculus back in the 1940s, 1960s. When in the 1940s, when calculus actually started to originate. Bet you motherfuckers couldn't tell me that, could ya? We'd be like, oh no, it didn't start to the 1970s. 1975 is when calculus started. Yeah. Where'd you learn that? A fake fucking offset college? A fake name? Like Princeton? You know, one of those names or some shit? Come on, man. You kids are dumb. And some of you that got the scholarships you got, because I know some of you personally, and some of you that got the scholarships you got, I shake my head thinking, how? What'd they do? Suck their teacher's dick? What'd they do? What'd they do? Do favors for them every day? They do their laundry at their house? Oh yeah, you do my laundry, fold the clothes, come on over, and while you're at it, suck my dick, and then later on we can hang out and shit, and I can order some pizza and I'll give you an A. I mean, come on, man. Some of you motherfuckers that pass the classes you pass and make it and shit, and actually knowing who you are, it's really questionable. It's like, there's no fucking way. There's just no way. You know that person, you hang around that person, you listen to their opinions, their ideologies, their system, what they know, what they don't know, and then and somehow they got a fucking scholarship to a main high up school. You're like, no, that's not even possible. You've seen some of their writing too, and it's like, do you realize your grammar's all fucked up? Like, you're putting a comma before the and, it's supposed to come after it. You're putting a comma before the S, supposed to come after it. It's like, that semicolon's not supposed to go there. It's like, that explanation point's not supposed to go there. The parentheses, the quotations, it's... And yet somehow you passed? The fuck? Was your English fucking grammar teacher a motherfucking shrimp chef? that barely got by in college to get their education degree with a D plus. No intelligence in this country anymore. All you dumb kids rather watch videos to learn shit. None of you really believe in the real Jesus Christ. You act like you do. You act like you've been through it. I guarantee 98% of you fucking millennials could not have gone what I went through and survived and actually became an artist the way I am today while battling autism. A lot of you dumb kids, a lot of you kids would be dead already if you were in my shoes. You'd be dead. I'm being honest, you'd just be dead. You say, no, I wouldn't. I'm invincible. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Yeah, you're a bunch of fucking idiots. I just wanted to make this known that a lot of you kids out there, you're fucking stupid. And I look at life and I look at the way things are, and it brings attention to me how far we've gone the opposite way of where Jesus wants this country to be. No morals anymore.